Right. Hold on 1 second. False start. Okay. Hello, Sammy here. You're back again watching StifTV. We have a very special guest today. This is Todd, not Scott.
Not Scott.
From Santa Cruz. He is on the product development team of the new Tallboy 4. So we're just going to talk about the new bike a little bit about what Todd does at Santa Cruz, and yeah, give you guys all the info you need. Any questions on anything that we discussed today, drop it in the comments below and we'll get back to you and let you know on that. Cool. So, Todd, Santa Cruz, what do you do there exactly?
I'm a product manager on the product team, like you said. So basically, my job is to work with our whole product and engineering team to kind of figure out what we want out of our bikes. We kind of figure out what new projects we want to work on, what we want the bike to do, how it rides, and take it pretty much from start to finish.
So you're more setting a goal for what the bike wants to kind of, the end product wants to be of that design, rather than necessarily actually kind of like sitting down and doing all the little CAD bits and pieces.
Right, yeah, we've got a killer engineering team that they're amazing at modeling and CAD and all that type of stuff. So our main job on the product side is kind of determine what this rider, how they use the bike, what are the key things that they want out of it, and how we can better serve them.
Okay, cool. So can you kind of give us a bit of an overview of what, with the Tallboy 4 and the new Joplin, what the kind of that end goal was intended to be? Because to me it looks, it's quite a radical departure from the previous bike. Yep. So what was that end goal?
So Tallboy, for the past few years, has kind of towed this line where it's kind of cross-country, kind of trail, depending on how people are riding the bike.
Okay.
So it's always been a little bit shorter travel, a little bit steeper angles, and kind of, that little more lightweight version. In the past couple of years, bringing the new Blur back into the lineup, it kind of let us have this super defined cross-country bike back into the fold. Super versatile, super fun bike, but mainly hitting that cross-country goal, which allowed Tallboy to kind of get a little bit more aggressive and kind of, spread its wings a little bit further, heading more towards like a high tower type bike than towards a Blur. So we've been super pumped with Lower Link, as you've seen with, last few products we've been launching. We just really love the way that Lower Link rides, and we wanted to match that up with a Tallboy. Okay,
cool. So, I mean, I've ridden the Blur quite a lot myself, and that really is like a kind of, it's a pure cross-country bike, but it's got, it's abuse friendly for an XC bike.
Super versatile.
I'm a heavy guy, I really like it. It doesn't feel kind of sketchy underneath me or anything. It's a really fun bike, equally like, Racing Snake can go and smash 24-hour race on it, like no problems. Whereas I guess the Tallboy 1, the Tallboy 2 was very much that kind of, it was trying to kind of cover both of those bases, wasn't it?
Exactly,
And even back then, people were kind of, that bike used to come with 32 forks in it, and then the Tallboy 3 moved to Fox 34, but people have been putting like angle sets in and like trying to make a more aggressive Tallboy for some time.
Exactly, the customers kind of showed us what they wanted the bike to be anyways. We saw people building them up, making them more burly. So we decided, let's do it ourselves. Let's make the bike a more aggressive bike than what it has been.
Yeah, cool. So that kind of like leads up, I mean, what do you think the biggest changes in between Tallboy 3 and Tallboy 4 is it? I mean, obviously, like visually, the Lower Link makes it look very, very different. Do you think that's made the biggest difference between that bike, or is it more the geometry, or?
I'd say geometry. Suspension-wise, for sure, Lower Link obviously it's a big departure from what our Upper Link travel bikes were like. The travel has grown a bit. So Tallboy in the past was a 110 rear. We're now a 120 rear with a 130 fork on the front. But the big story really is head tube angle, reach, seat tube angle. So head tube angle.
So we take it from like the front to the back then. So head tube angle, like what are we at now?
We're at 65 and a half.
65. So, I mean, that sounds amazing to me, but to a lot of people that would sound quite surprising, right? That's pretty slack for a short
It seems pretty aggressive.
Bike.
But we've kept seeing this where, as you look at a lot of bike brands, they basically, as they shrink their travel down, they also steepen up all their angles. And we just thought, why do you need to make the bike, less versatile? Why does it need to get a steeper head tube angle? So we spent a lot of time building out mules. We would weld together frames, try a bunch of different geometries, and we really, really liked the way that this rode with a 65 and a half. So for us, whether it's, you know, a Bronson, a Hightower, or a Tallboy, like we think it should have a nice slack head tube angle.
I mean, I'd from a personal level, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, in the past, riding short travel kind of trail bikes, I'd definitely say instances where I've kind of 1 minute been going like 30 mile an hour down the side of a moor or something, and the next minute I'm 20 foot over there in the bush kind of thing.
It's awesome until it's not.
That's probably more because, you know, like I've run out of kind of geometry almost rather than running out of travel. You know, like it just becomes too twitchy. So
exactly.
The idea of raking that out and getting a bit more stability makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. That's exactly what our goal was.
Cool. Short offset fork on these, or is
it is? So,
and that's a departure from Tallboy 3 was regular, wasn't it?
Yeah. Tallboy 3, I believe, had a regular offset. We've just really liked the way these short offset forks have been riding, and you've seen we've been putting these on quite a few of our bikes. Just the way that the reach, head tube angle, fork offset, and seat tube angle all work together, we just find it to be one of the best positions possible for us.
Cool. So that short offset is essentially, it's actually bringing the fork, the kind of front wheel a little bit more in line with the head tube angle, which is actually, it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but essentially like it makes it actually a bit more stable at high speed, doesn't it? And it also makes it a bit more manageable when you're climbing as well. Yeah,
the handling is the big thing that I find with the short offset forks. Just having that trail number kind of brought back in again, especially with the head tube angle, it just allows the bike to feel super stable, but then still corner nice and sharp too.
Cool. So that's kind of like the front end head tube. Kind of height changed much, like the stack of the bike?
Not by much, no. It's staying pretty close. Pretty close where it is.
BB height?
BB's pretty low. We're at 332, I believe.
Okay.
You can check it. All the information is going to be on the website too. Cool thing, we do have flip chips on this bike. So it does have 2 different options for bottom bracket height.
That's kind of brand new for this bike as well, isn't it?
It is. Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of filtered down. Has that kind of come from kind of Mega Tower?
Mega Tower Nomad. Yeah, we like the idea that this bike is for a lot of different riders. There's some people that do want to take this as like their climbing bike that they can take uphill all day. Some people want it to be a super aggressive short travel bike. So we want to give the ability for the rider to choose exactly how they want their bike set up. So if you want to be in the high setting, it's going to be super nice for climbing. It's going to be a little bit more clearance. Whereas if you go in the low setting, if you're doing steep stuff or stuff without a ton of rocks, then it's going to make it super stable and really good for cornering.
So if you're kind of using this bike in a setting where, say, you would normally use, say, a Nomad or something, where you're kind of like climbing up a steep fire road and you've got like a big technical descent, like the low is going to kind of work.
It's going to be great.
Better for that, and the geometry is going to complement that as well.
Totally. But if you're doing more of like cross-country stuff or kind of ridgeline stuff, it's going to be a little bit better to be in the high. Yeah,
maybe kind of slightly slower speed around your local woods and stuff. It's going to feel a little bit more nimble, I guess.
Exactly. Yep. Just a little bit better.
Cool. And the BB's kind of dropped in height a little bit.
Yeah, it is a little bit lower than it was.
You're kind of sat, whether or not you're in that kind of high or low position, I'm guessing you're kind of like sat more in the bike, kind of shielded by the bars, I like to kind of say, like
more kind of tucked into it versus being on top of it.
Yeah, exactly, which helps with that stability at speed again.
Yep, absolutely.
What about the reach kind of numbers?
Reach is a little bit longer than it has been.
I'm not going to ask you for exact reach numbers.
Yeah, thank you. It's too many numbers in my head at this point. But yeah, reach is a little bit longer than what we've had in the past. A little bit shorter stems. And seat tube angles increased quite a bit too. So it's kind of what you've seen on the rest of our frames.
The high tower's really kind of shifted up.
Yep, high tower's moved forward. We're at 76.5 for the seat tube angle. So we find that it just allows you to get a little bit more on the front of the bike and just lets you pedal a little bit better too.
Yeah, kind of be able to like sit in a position that's kind of effective rather than having to kind of slide onto the nose of the saddle light.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Cool.
And then rear end wise, another cool piece, we do have a flip chip in the rear end too. So the bike has 2 positions for chainstay link.
Down here on the rear axle.
You got it. Yep, exactly. Okay. So 2 different positions, basically 430 millimeters or 440, depending on how you want to have your bike set. Same kind of story as the bottom bracket height. If you want a bike that's going to be super playful and be able to whip around the rear end, put it in the short setting.
Yeah.
If you want something that's going to be a little bit more stable and get a little bit better climbing traction, then you want to put it in the long setup.
Okay. Cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's filtered from like the V10 originally, I guess.
V10s, Mega Tower,
axle,
exactly.
flip chip.
Yeah. So
cool.
Just gives a little bit more versatility.
Nice. Seat tube lengths are kind of shorter again than they were previously, with like longer dropper posts been a thing
Yeah,
nowadays?
exactly. You've nailed it. So yeah, we want to make sure we can fit super long, not super long, but long dropper posts. We can fit up to like 170s or so. And also still making sure we have a ton of standover height. So if you look at our standover height numbers, they're super low, even up in like the XL sizes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually quite surprised. I was kind of looking at this thinking like, yeah, I mean, it looks low for a size large, and I'm just seeing on the sticker like, that's an XL.
It's an XL, yeah.
There is so much clearance
lots of
on this
room.
bike. It's incredible.
Yep.
So, and that leads on to like sizing. This has got the widest range, of any bike that Santa Cruz have made.
Yeah,
before.
yeah, it does. You're totally right. We go extra small. We go all the way up to a double XL. We've got all options available.
Cool.
That's in carbon, so we don't have a double XL in alloy.
Right, okay. And the flip chip's not on the alloy bike either, is it?
Yeah, right, that's on carbon only. Yep.
Cool. What about wheels previous? So I guess there was some kind of a flip chip on the previous Tallboy that enabled you to swap between the big kind of 2.8 tires and what we'd kind of more class as like a regular kind of 2.3 tire.
Yeah, there was the plus options.
Yeah, and I guess you've got, this is a kind of stock build option here, and we would normally see maybe, I don't know, like a recon on the back or something, like a bit of a kind of more faster rolling on a tire normally. And I think actually looking at the tire choice here, like that's kind
of more trail again.
Yeah, it's stating the bike's intentions, isn't it? Just down at the down at the tire choice.
Yep. So Minions front and rear now, 2.3 tires.
Okay.
So again, just a really nice trail setup. The beauty with that flip chip in the rear is that you can run up to a 2.6 29.
Cool.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of room for different tire options too.
And that's basically by kind of growing the stays into that longer position, you're not actually kind of having to adjust the seat tube angle or BB drop or anything.
Yep, so totally. And it just gives you that clearance right in the rear end to make sure you've got enough room to not scrub. Yep.
Cool. 2.6 has been, it's been pretty popular actually. I think that's cool to have both options available there.
Totally.
Cool. So 2.3s right up to 2.6. And it's 29 only, isn't it?
29 only.
There's no...
Yeah, no 27 plus on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Lower link. We've kind of touched on that, haven't we? So previously, all the kind of, what we would say more kind of XC kind of trail geometry bikes have been the kind of upper link configuration. And that's kind of where the shock's kind of driven off this upper link here and kind of drives through to the frame here.
Right.
And this new design, well, we saw this on a kind of pedalable bike. We saw this on the Nomad first, didn't we, I think?
Yeah, it started on Nomad. I mean, Lauren kind of developed on the V10 side and then it slowly worked its way.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that bike. It was brought to a pedalable bike from a
less pedally bike. Yeah, and it's been interesting. We've been making a ton of bikes this year and launching a bunch of new product, and it's pretty much every time we get into lower link, we're learning more and more about it. What we learned on Nomad has then transferred into Mega Tower. What we learned in Mega Tower has transferred into High Tower. High Tower here, now we've moved it into Tallboy. So, as we're doing all these development projects, we've got a huge group of super talented engineers that, they're all working on different projects at different times. So as one makes this realization like, oh, dude, if we do it this way, our anti-squat number can move here and shock progression changes a bit here, we can start to hone in on exactly what those traits are that we want for each bike. So I have to say...
Cool. So like the bikes are still improving like year on year. It's not just kind of like, oh, we invented this suspension platform 20 years ago and like, let's change the geometry around it.
We're not like, here's where pivots go, fit it onto that bike. Every time it's changing a little bit and just improving a little bit more. This bike is by far one of the best pedaling bikes I've ever ridden. It was super fun taking this from a mule to the first carbon prototypes and just the little iterative changes that we were making and just the way that it was riding. It's pretty phenomenal.
So it kind of rewards somebody kind of like getting up and cranking on the pedals, or happy to just kind of sit and spin, or
honestly a bit of both. It's one of these bikes that, with frame stiffness the way it is and just how efficient pedaling wise it is, if you put power down, it's going to give it right back to you. You definitely feel that immediate push up. But it's also light, and it also is active when you're sitting and pedaling. So you get this consistent, just really efficient pedal stroke.
We're kind of plenty of traction.
Exactly. Yep. It stays active, so you don't have to worry about like skipping the rear end around. The anti-squat numbers just really are honed in honed in for that. We're kind of touting it as like the downhiller's cross-country bike,
right,
or
okay.
like the cross-country guy's downhill bike. You know, it
Right.
kind of toes
makes...
that line a little bit,
Yeah.
depending on how aggressive you want to be on it, whether climbing or descending. You know, it definitely gives you positive feedback both ways.
Okay. And then descending, like, how does it kind of feel? I mean, obviously I haven't ridden the bike yet. We literally, what, you guys built this like yesterday or something?
Yeah, it's like pretty much brand new. So yeah, I saw this as a frame yesterday. So
I mean, I'm kind of used to kind of saying to customers that, like, you know, within the lower link bikes that say like a Nomad's kind of more linear and it's kind of quite happy to use a coil shock on it, and it's a lot more kind of, you know, it pedals really, really well uphill in a more kind of like seated position, but like a Bronson, for instance, you can like get up and like crank a bit more and it rides a bit firmer, and that kind of reflects in the ride quality. So I'm kind of guessing, is this on the firmer kind of side of things?
Yep, it's a little bit firmer. The progression is it's a bit different from where a Bronson or Nomad would be, just based on how we want this one to pedal. So yeah, it's biased more on being a more efficient climbing bike versus trying to be like, you know, the big burly bike.
Yeah.
But that being said, you know, what we can do with shock tunes and all that, we can still make this bike super fun downhill too.
Right, okay. So it's going to be kind of more like poppy and playful rather than like kind of downhill bike kind of...
Yeah, it's not your smashy sled that just motors over everything. This bike is definitely going to be more agile, more playful.
Yeah. And I think that what complements that kind of playfulness and like picking a line choice, obviously like full carbon frame, you know, the one piece back end, one piece front end, there's no kind of extra bits joining it together or anything, like solid links and everything. Reserve wheels.
Just trying to make the chassis itself super, super stiff. That way the suspension is what you're feeling.
So you don't have to just hold on to it. You can actually choose where you want to go on
exactly.
it.
Yeah, you got it.
Cool. And I guess we talked a little bit about the kind of head angle and stuff before, but I mean, actually the fork, you know, like this is coming stock with a kind of beefier fork than we've seen before. So that's going to help.
We're running 35 mil forks. We're running, again, 130 mil travel, so a little bit more aggressive than where it's been. And yeah, just really letting Tallboy fly is this nice short travel, true trail bike.
And would you ever like over fork it? You know, like is there
You certainly can.
Okay.
Yeah. Depending on how you want to ride, you could definitely over fork it. You're gonna, by going to like a 140, you're gonna change your reach. Your reach is gonna shrink, head angle is gonna slacken out a bit, BB will come up a little bit, and seat tube angle is gonna slacken out. Okay. But depending on your ride and what you want to do, yeah, there's no problem.
Is there a favorite within the kind of Santa Cruz employees?
Not gonna lie, we all run it at 130.
All right,
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's truly been the setup we all really like. Some guys are going with even bigger forks, like a 36 130.
Right, okay.
Just because they're nuts, but you know, it's kind of a mix. It's whatever. With the wheels, so we're running the 27 reserves on these. Yeah. So not as big as the 30. We find the 27 inner rim width works really well with a 2.3 tire. It actually gets the profile, you know, pretty much where we want it to be, and what tire manufacturers are designing to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, lifetime warranty on the rims. Lifetime warranty on the frame, all the bits you'd expect from Santa Cruz. Yeah.
So if you were say that downhill but wanted an XC bike and you knew from the offset you're going to run 2.4, 2.5 tires on it, you'd maybe kind of like, you know, look at putting like the reserve 30 on it.
Totally. Yeah. The beauty with the reserve line.
Absolutely fine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The beauty with the reserve line, we've got rim widths all over the place from a 25 all the way up. So. Yeah, 30s will fit just fine, and like I said, up to a 2.6, 2.9 rear tire. And you just have to set up your BB height and your chainstay length accordingly.
Cool. Right. Have we missed anything? I'm not entirely sure.
Some little framey bits.
Okay.
We've kind of adjusted our cable routing a little bit. Based on kind of where High Tower and Mega Tower have been too.
Yeah, okay.
So the ports are like right up the front.
Where is the cabling?
So cables all at the front of the head tube, pop out right below the shock. It's an internal carbon channel inside. So you literally throw that cable through. Yeah,
I like
call it channel. It's the working engineering name for it. We have all sorts of weird names for stuff.
Carbon tunnel.
Yeah, the carbon.
Cool. So there's not, and that's actually like bare carbon, isn't it? There's not
no grommets or anything.
Grommets to lose or anything like that.
It just flips right through.
That comes out at a really nice angle. And
And with the way it's set up, if you're running moto, like I know you guys love to do, it's still super easy. That's debatable. But yeah, you can run it either way.
And it works perfectly fine.
Totally
both
does.
ways.
Yeah, there's no issue with
okay.
it. Drop and post routing super easy too.
Yeah, I really like this. There's no way of getting cable rub on your frame
That's the big thing. We want to make sure we're protecting the frame as much as we can.
The way it kind of sits, like the cables aren't going to rattle against each other or anything. Like it's really, really well thought out.
Good, thank you.
And then that kind of, you've got a carbon tube that runs all the way through, down tube, out to here.
Yep.
And then it comes into the swing arm and then kind of out on this side here.
Exactly, yep.
And there's no kind of rattle there or anything, is there?
No, we've got the rubber grommets at the front of the swing arm. They help keep the cable in place.
Okay.
You don't really get much rattle or anything inside there. It's pretty tight. And then we've got rubber grommets. If you happen to run Axis, we've got rubber grommets to plug those holes so you're not getting water and shit inside your frame. I don't know if you're allowed to say shit.
Cool. How big a water bottle can you fit in it?
Large size on these. You got plenty of room,
so
especially
much
on
room,
an
you could almost like make a special Tallboy bottle.
Might as well,
like
extra Tallboy, yeah. Yeah.
We touched on shocks a little bit, so I'm guessing it's probably air shock only.
It is air shock only. We don't have room to fit a coil in this design, and also a Float X2 will not fit either.
Right.
So the large can on a Fox float.
Could you put like a piggyback air shock in there?
You can. You can run a Super Deluxe or a Deluxe. You can run DPX2s, DPS. They all fit just fine.
Okay.
So
cool.
There's a couple shock options that will not fit. We'll have all that information on the website though.
Okay. And is there a reason why there's a Fox shock in the back, Rock Shock's fork up front?
We tested every configuration we possibly could, and we really like the way that these pikes are riding. This is the new pike that just came out last year, or this year, I guess. And
the new Charger damper is like unreal.
It's fantastic. So we've been really, really happy with the pikes. And we go back and forth on, if you look at our specs, between forks and shocks, we tend to bounce between both Fox and Rock Shocks.
Yeah.
It really comes down to, we work closely with their engineers. We send them exactly what our shock rates that we're looking for, how our kinematics are going to work, and we, based on how everything's coming together, we'll make the call on which shock to use.
And is that kind of started fairly early in development, like when you're kind of testing mules and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of dial in like the stroke, the eye-to-eye, location stuff, progression. We lock that in pretty early in the mules, and then once we get into final carbon prototypes, that's when we start dialing in the actual tune of the shock itself. If we want to have like a light compression circuit or a light rebound circuit, whatever it's going to be, we dial that in pretty close to the end of the cycle.
Cool. Any other kind of frame details or anything? I've noticed like there's a new chainstay protector.
Yeah, new protector.
Is that all new for this bike, or is that shared with others?
It's an all new one. It's based on what we've done with some of the other ones. You've kind of seen the ribbed design come through from other models we've launched this year. So it just really helps keep that chain noise down and protects the frame really well.
Yeah.
Too.
That's these ribs down here, and they're underneath as well. Cool.
Yep. Yeah.
And that just snaps on and off again.
There's one little bolt here behind the chainring.
Yeah, that's all replaceable.
Exactly.
If you ever,
it does have ICG.
If you were really shredding on it. I guess.
Yeah, you got to go for it. It does have ICG 05 tabs. So
really?
If you do want to run a guide,
okay. That's cool.
It's no problem to run a guide on it. Most of the standard upper guide ones will work, like MRP and all that. So.
Cool. That's kind of setting the intentions in the back again, isn't it?
Exactly. We want to make sure that it's covering the bases for trail riders.
Cool.
And all the bits that they want.
We've got the
little fender.
That kind of the little fender that we've seen on the other bikes as well to kind of keep the mud off the bearings.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Still a grease port on the lower link.
Okay.
All the stuff, standard bearings, all the stuff you'd expect from Santa Cruz.
Lifetime bearing replacement
lifetime
again,
bearings, frames.
lifetime warranty on the frame again.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Cool. And then we do have the Joplin version too.
Okay.
So, which is pretty awesome. We've got both the men's and women's.
What kind of size range is this cover?
So,
is it extra small through to
medium?
Right, okay.
Yeah. So we've got a few different size options for Joplin too. The big story, we do a special tune for the fork and for the shock.
The fork as well?
Yep.
Right,
just a little bit. Yeah. So we just want to make sure that it's hitting for all of our lighter weight riders too.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Like I know we've had it in the shock on previous bikes before as well, but I mean, we have Jim, actually, who you've probably seen on StifTV, some forks he's had trouble with in the past because he's just too light to kind of get the damping,
that's
like,
the problem.
really working.
Yep,
So
exactly. And that's the beauty with these forks too, is, you know, it's pretty easy to take out the bottomless tokens and add to them if you need. So, you know, to tune for your own specific ride qualities, it's not hard to do with these.
And in terms of like the sizing, like obviously the Tallboy goes from extra small right up to double XL. This goes from extra small to medium, but is there any geometry differences between the two bikes?
Nope. The frames are essentially the same in Geo. So, yeah, if you're sizing one or the other, it's essentially the same.
Okay. And it's more kind of like, it's contact points, isn't it? Like women's specific saddle, slightly narrower bar.
Yep. Different Juliana grips that are a little bit smaller diameter, just kind of small things like that. These grips are fantastic, honestly. And the different color ranges you can get in the Juliana grips are super cool too.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Yeah.
But all the kind of features and everything shared between the two bikes, right?
Yeah, pretty much anything on Tallboy you can say essentially the same on Joplin too. Both are going to come in both aluminum and carbon, 2 grades of carbon, C and CC. So there's a ton of different options spec-wise and frame size and all that.
Cool. Has there been any kind of like team input on like developing the new bike? Does that kind of happen, or is it more done in-house? Or obviously we see like the V10s, obviously very like syndicate.
Yeah,
is this like?
This one we tend to keep mainly in-house. Just with development projects and working with athletes, it's really hard to schedule that and keep it all together. I'll say in-house, we've got some super talented riders that have spent a ton of time on these bikes. And honestly, all of our engineers and product folk and everyone in the office absolutely shreds. So it's pretty nice. We can get people out right away and get them riding and get feedback really quickly. Cool. The team definitely has ridden the bike. They've ridden them quite a bit as well. But at least on the development phase, we tend to keep it in-house. We've got to keep it secret as much as we can. So it can be tricky. It we're always trying to prevent spy shots and stuff like that. So
I don't think we've seen this leak so far, have we?
Fingers crossed. We got a couple more days.
This time. Awesome, right. I think we've covered everything there.
I hope,
We've probably missed something. So if we have, let us know in comments below.
Yeah, and almost all the information is going to be on the website. So if you do have any questions about the flip chips or the Geo or specs or anything, it's all going to be on the website. We'll have really good exploded views of the frames, so you can see all the parts, all the configurations, anything you need to kind of understand the frame and how it all comes together.
Yeah, and I guess there is quite a lot of different options as well. You know, we start from, there's an alloy kind of D-kit right up to, you know, your carbon access bike as well. So.
Bunch of different price points. Yeah, a little bit of everything for everyone. That's kind of the goal here.
If you want to try one, give us a shout. We've got demo bikes on order. So yeah, they should be here very soon. Probably by the time you watch this video, I'm hoping. I'm really regret saying that now. But yeah, we will have like a full size run of bikes for you to be able to try as well. So awesome.
Cool.
Todd, man, thanks for coming in.
Cheers.
That was pretty awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. That was StifTV. Cheers.